A Canadian Funeral Guide. Chapter 1. A Canadian Funeral. Canadian Funeral Websites. funeralscanada.com, thefuneraldirectory.com, thefuneralmagazine.com, afuneralienbc.com, Memorial Society in British Columbia, arbormemorial.com, chain of funeral homes, Toronto, atlanticfuneralhomes.com, casketdepot.ca, buy a mail order casket in Canada, ccabc.org, Cemetery and Crematorium Association of British Columbia, leavalegacy.ns.ca, Mount Pleasant Group POF-cemeteries.ca, Graveyards Ontario, myfuneralplan.org, Federation of Ontario Memorial Societies, nelsonmonuments.com, 800-561-9014, Sussex, NB. preplannet.com/canfh, funeral home industry, selectfunerals.ca, snowfuneralhome.com, Halifax, thesimplealternative.ca, funeral services, tingleymonuments.ca, Bedford, NS, truehelpfinancial.com, Canadian funeral expenses, free report on how to properly plan your final expenses. Provincial Funeral Service Astons, British Columbia, BC Funeral Service Association, 1551 Pandora Avenue, Victoria, BC V8R6P9, 250-592-3213, fax, 250-592-4362, Alberta, Alberta Funeral Service Association, number 130, 6715 8th St Northeast, Calgary, UB T2E7H7, 800-803-8809, 403-274-1922, fax, 403-274-8191, Saskatchewan, SK Funeral Service Association, number 12, 2700 Montague St. Regina, SKS4S0J9, 306-584-1575, fax, 306-584-9259, Manitoba, Manitoba Funeral Service Association, POG 243, Winnipeg, MBR3C2G9, 204-947-0927, Ontario, Ontario Funeral Service Association, 320 North Queen St. number 130, Etobicoke, on M9C5K4, 800-268-2727, 416-695-3434, fax, 416-695-3583, Quebec, Corporation des Thanatologues du QC, 3340 Rue de Louisiana Parade, number 200, Saint Foy, QC G1X2L7, 800-463 = 4935, 418-653-9102, fax, 418-653-3580, New Brunswick, NB Funeral Directors and Embalmers Association, POB 31, Hampton, NB EOG 1Z0, 506-832-5541, fax, 506-832-3082, Nova Scotia, NS Licensed Embalmers and Funeral Directors Association, 172 Main St. Kentville, NSB4N1J8, 902-678-8200, fax, 902-679-2226, Newfoundland, NF and Labrador, Funeral SVCs Association, POB 138, Winterton, NFA0B3M0, 709-586-2721, Fax, 709-586-2888. Prince Edward Island. Pay Funeral Directors and Embalmers Association. epub 540. Kensington, PEC 0B1M0. 902-836-3313. Fax, 902-836-4461. Provincial Licensing Departments for Funeral Services. If you have a problem with a funeral service, address your complaint to the following provincial offices: British Columbia Consumer Services Division, 5th FL, 1019 Wharf St. Victoria, BC V8W9J8, 250-387-3045. Fax, 250-953-3533. Alberta Funeral Services Regulatory Board, 11810 Kingsway Avenue, Edmonton, UB T5GOX5, 800-563-4652, 780-452-6130. Fax, 780-452-6085. Saskatchewan SK Prepaid Funeral Services Council. Number 12. 2700 Montague St. Regina, SKS4SOJ9. 306-584-1575. Fax, 306-584-9259. Manitoba Public Utilities Board of Consumer and Corporate Affairs. 2nd FL. 280 Smith St. Winnipeg, MBR3C1K2. 204-945-2638. Fax, 204-945-2643. Ontario Board of Funeral SVCs. 777 Bay St. Number 2810. epub 117. Toronto, on M5G2C8. 416-979-5450. Fax, 416-979-0384. New Brunswick Consumer Affairs Branch, Department of Justice. epub 6000. Fredericton, NBE3B5H1. 506-453-2659. Fax, 506-444-4494. Nova Scotia Consumer and Commercial Relations Division. epub 1003. Halifax, NSB3J2X1. 902-424-0676. Fax, 902-424-7434. Newfoundland Trade Practices and Licensing Division. Department of Government SVCs. and Lands. epub 8700. St. John's, NFA 1B4J6. 709-729-2660. Fax, 709-729-3205. Prince Edward Island. Department of Provincial Affairs and Attorney General. epub 2000. Charlottetown, PEC 1A7N8. 902-368-4580. Fax, 902-368-5355. Yukon Consumer SVCs. Department of Justice. epub 2703. Whitehorse, YTY1A2C6. 867-667-5257. Fax, 867-667-3609. Northwest Territories. Consumer SVCs. Branch. Municipal and Community Affairs. epub 1320. Yellowknife, NTX1A2L9. 867-873-7125. Fax, 867-920-6156. Canadian Veterans Funeral. Last Post Fund. 800-565-4777. lastpostfund.ca. Non-profit national corporation arranges and pays for the funerals of qualified veterans.